Are Dominicans black? Join me this time in the conversation as we break down some of the stereotypes and misunderstanding about why Dominicans call themselves black. Stay tuned. The footage. Dominicans, you have to ask the right question. Some Dominicans where they don't identify as black, like we should never identify as black. We should be seen as Americans first with African roots. So most Dominicans see themselves as Dominicans, but if you ask, do I have African? Is my abuela African? Is my abuela African? Is my madre or my padre have African? They'll say sí, but you have to ask the right question, and they just don't go off cusp and say that I'm black. Let me ask you a question.
I know black. I know black. I know black. Impossible. I know black. I ain't Dominican. I'm Puerto Rican. I know black. Be looking just like me. Be having the same hair. I be touching it like, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same, papi. It's not the same. They try to salsa that shit off. I be like, no, it's not the same. I know black. Negro nunca, nunca. I know no, nunca. I know black. I'm like, no, you black. No. I know black. Dominica. I go, I know, but you're black. No, papi. I know black.
How do I make you guys understand that not all Latinas are light-skinned with curly hair or white with straight hair? Some Latinas, honey, look like moi. Ta-da!
I just took a DNA test, turns out I'm 100%
black. Black. Yeah. Hey. Okay. Black on black. My face.
Okay, I know this is gonna sound super weird to all the gringos out there, but guess, listen to this. Yes, you can call us mi amor, you can call us bebé, mamacita, but this is overrated. If you are dating a brown-skinned Colombian woman, baby, you can call me mi negrita. It can't get any better than that. You can't call me mi negrita.
All you do is shut down the runway, looking dangerous like a gunplay. They all wanna grab you, on you like a tattoo. Hey, don't you fall like you don't even try to. Nobody can match you. Don't you fall like sexy mind and body. You already got me now. They just wanna get it. Ellos no la quieren. Body moving, get it. She can do it, get it. So wild tonight. Waist beats are in motion round our body. When you do it slowly, you take me for a ride, yeah. I go see you through together, baby. You scatter the streets, your vibe is so divine. Don't you fall like you don't even try to. Nobody can match you. Don't you fall like sexy mind and body. You already got me now. Ellos no la quieren. Ellos no la quieren. Body moving, get it. She can do it, get it. Yeah.
Jag minns ju den tid du gav mig life villa, yo. Nu vill jag kunna ge tillbaka allt jag inte kunna ge förut. Det finns ju ingen annan där som kan stå här by my side, oh why. Sättet du rör på det får mig att dö för det, baby. För de här yardis, de vill ju bara dra ner oss. Men du är fett och vanlig. Och det jag lägger all min tid av. Jag vill ha det. Du får mig känna safety. Det kan nog leda, baby. Och jag kommer aldrig ändra mig. Aldrig. Kommer aldrig känna så här för någon annan än dig. Aldrig. Kommer aldrig känna så här för någon annan än dig. Varje gång jag bak på dig, jag tänker vilket kap jag har gjort. Jag skulle gå tillbaka till tidigare om allt igen och förstå. Ser det som ett allt, det är det jag vill wipa. De här yardis, de vill ju bara dra ner oss. Men du är fett och vanlig. På det jag lägger all min tid. Jag vill ha det. Du får mig känna safety. Vi kan nog det baby. Och jag kommer aldrig ändra mig. Aldrig. Kommer aldrig känna så här för någon annan än det. Aldrig. Kommer aldrig känna så här för någon annan än dig. Jag vet det bara life om igen. Jag vet det bara ta din tid. Jag vet det bara life om igen och stay with me. Jag vet det bara life om igen. Jag vet det bara ta din tid. Jag vet det bara life om igen och stay with me. Du lägger till, du är där för mig. Jag svär mitt liv kretsar runt dig, baby. Du bär på mina bebek så att när jag visionerar vår framtid. Låt mig hålla dig, baby. Kommer aldrig känna så här för någon annan än dig. Aldrig. Kommer aldrig känna så här för någon annan än dig. Jag vet det.
I got a itch in my palm. My girl, she know she the one. I put the ice on her hand. I put some ice on her arm. See me shining in the light. Know you found me in the dark. Talking how you wanna leave. Girl, you made this far. Taking trips overseas. No, I won't be long. We came up from the weeds. Now it's top floor. All these big gets on her wrist. VVS is on her neck. Make it spinning, I don't stress. When I make it stretch. Double back to back then. Down broke, now we rich. Spend it on her, let it spin. Down with me to the end. That my best friend. That my best friend. That my best friend. I'ma spend it on her, cause she all mine. Spend it on a challenge, cause she all mine. There for my first cake, then we hit on a cake. $500,000 on the way, then $1 million on the way. Eating good full plates, eating good say grace. Eat her up, get thanks. She got cake birthday. I can't waste no way, I can't waste no play. My girl, whoa, sounding like the baddest chick. My girl, whoa, came from the rags to rich. Hit the road running, I had to tell her I had to get it. She understood, but she spoiled, so when she get mad, she dip. All these big gets on her wrist, VVS is on her neck. Make it spinning, I don't stress. When I make it stretch. Double back to back then. Down broke, now we rich. Spend it on her, let it spin. Down with me to the end. That my best friend. That my best friend. That my best friend. I'ma spend it on her, cause she all mine. Spend it on a challenge, cause she all mine. All these big gets on her wrist, VVS is on her neck. Make it spinning, I don't stress. When I make it stretch. Double back to back then. Down broke, now we rich. Spend it on her, let it spin. Down with me to the end. That my best friend. That my best friend. That my best friend. I'ma spend it on her, cause she all mine. All these big gets on her wrist, VVS is on her neck. Make it spinning, I don't stress. Spend it on a challenge, cause she all mine. That my best friend. That my best friend. That my best friend.
Are Dominicans black? Join me at this time in the conversation as we break down some of the stereotypes and misunderstanding about why Dominicans call themselves black. Stay tuned.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
I'm a mom of 7, and I'm 33.
Okay.
With being a mom of 7, do you think that a woman of multiple children is still capable of finding someone?
First, let me ask you before I make the statement. Do the kids have the same father?
Yes, they do.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Okay, so this is a look. Hold on. We're talking about 7 children, okay? This is no offense to you because it's absolutely possible for you to find a quality man.
I've never said this before. I've never advocated for this before. I'm gonna let Quentin and How To Man have it after this.
This is crazy.
I have never ever said this that I'm about to say right now, and I didn't think that I would ever come to this point. It's time to get y'all passports.
Nairobi, New Year's Eve, 2023, going into 2024. Yeah, we're doing the damn thing, baby. You see what I'm saying? We're doing the damn thing. You ready?
Fall comes to us in its own time. Finders keepers, losers we.
When men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over.
Thank you to the 12 that are actually watching on the night. Thank you to the 12 guys. Do me a favor, share this stream, because we're going to have a good show. We're going to have a good and a comprehensive show on tonight. You know, black people in America were never seen as Americans first. They were seen as black instead of being seen as Americans. And because they were seen as Americans, potentially, we internalize the struggle of being black. And because of that, sometimes when we see other ethnic groups, even though they have ethnic African roots, and when they say they don't identify as black, then we struggle with it. Now, here's the problem. If you're looking at it from an American perspective, then black people in America are right. But with some, not all, some Dominicans that say it, they will claim their African roots. Some won't claim their African roots. And some will claim it based on how you answer it. But the problem is this, guys. Have you, like many others, been the victim of internalized hatred and the victims of internalized racism, which more or less have caused men to more or less place their own or project their own values to others. This is going to be a good show on tonight, guys. Get your pens and paper ready. Let's do it, because it's going to be very comprehensive. And shout out to my dear friend Marlena, good sister, good woman, good Dominican sister. Much respect to her. And guys, we're about to do it. So let's go. Minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock, guys, bringing it to you live from the greatest state in the Union, the Tar Heel State. The lack of self-love can cause mental distress. But I'm going to prove to you guys on the night why Dominicans can be black, or why Dominicans are black, why some don't identify as black, and some do. Very comprehensive, guys. Share the stream and get the likes up. Thank you.
State in the Union, the Tar Heel State, where the topography is serene, pristine, and verdant green, where every day is Father's Day, and where manhood is part of hills and valleys, victories and failures. And whereas men, we don't agree on all things or ideologies, but tonight we come together as allies of a common cause, only to dissipate once the crisis is over. Now listen, I'm about to drop some fire for your mind, but before I drop that fire, let's explore why we are doing the Manhood Chronicles.
All right, guys, thank you to the 16 that are watching. I appreciate it. Hold tight. Let me mute this because it's a feedback. And shout out to Gregory Scotland, because Gregory is always showing love. Shout out to Gregory Scotland. Much love to that dear brother. He's an excellent supporter, always supporting what I'm trying to do. And because of that, I'm forever grateful. You know, guys, slavery did a damage to black people or people, Americans of African descent. And it did also a lot of damage to those of Caribbean descent and also Latin descent as well. The transatlantic slave trade talks about how the British conquered people from the African diaspora and brought them here, but it also articulates how Latin people or black people that were from Nigeria, Angola, Congo, and took them to the Caribbean islands with the Taínos Indians, and they were conquered by the Spaniards. And so what it did, guys, it gave us all a different perspective based on socialization by racist white men. The Spaniards had more of a caste system, but when it came down to Americans of the African diaspora, because we should be Americans first instead of being seen as black first. We're Americans, but the world never saw us as Americans. They saw us as black, to the point they saw us as 3/5 human. The Native Americans were here first. Some say some of the indigenous Americans were actually black. But the problem is, guys, when it came down to Negroes from the continent, we have been conditioned to devalue ourselves, and sometimes I understand what people from what black people are saying, or American blacks are saying. When they see other ethnic groups, they say you're a black. The problem is, you're right if you're looking at it from an American perspective, but in their country, some of them don't see it from your perspective. You are right, they are from the continent. Their roots go back to the motherland. But some say I'm Dominican. And they're right, partially. They're right to say I'm Dominican if they claim their African roots. But some of it is internalized hatred and internalized racism based on how the Spaniards more or less placated them. Shout out to my man Gregory Scotland, guys, once again for the 20. Shout out to Gregory. And this is what Gregory said. Gregory said, salute, coach. Thank you, brother. The word is starting to get out that even black women in Brazil are on the African and increasingly expressing a funky attitude, really, towards black men. Even white male worship is showing. That's interesting, Gregory. That is interesting. I would love for you to expound on that. But as we speak, Gregory Scotland's the #1 sponsor of the stream.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
It's the money.
All right, guys. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in on tonight. We're going to have a great show. And I appreciate the 16 or 15 that are watching. Guys, share this stream because this show is very important. Ignorance is the linchpin to intolerance. And intolerance is a linchpin to many things. And there are men like Sammy Sosa that don't claim his African heritage. Men like Sammy Sosa don't always claim their African heritage. And they do it for a bevy of reasons. Some of it is internalized hatred. Just like there are some black people or Americans from African descent, they have internalized hatred as well because the world has told them that dark skin was inferior. But we know that dark skin is not inferior. And let me tell you guys something. I would never trade being black or being an American of the African diaspora. I embrace my ethnic roots. I embrace it. And I'm going to show you guys in a minute the conundrum or the cacophony that's going on in so many heads. But once again, guys, share this stream, get the likes up. We're going to have a great show on tonight. Thank you once again to Gregory Scotland as he's the #1 sponsor. I want to show you guys this again, and we're going to get deep into it. Hold tight.
I got some good cooler counters, Miss Kendra. It's good.
Man, are you dealing with issues like this? Book a session.
I got 6 Kendra.
6. How old are you, Diamond?
I'm 44.
44. Have you ever been married?
I'm married right now, but I'm separated. My husband is a cheater.
How many children's dads do you have? Just one?
I got 6, Kendra. I gave every man I loved a baby.
Okay, so you have 6 children by 6 men, and you're married to a different man.
That's right.
You must got some fire vagina.
I got some good cooler counters, Miss Kendra. It's good.
I've always told people, I'm going to call you John Doe for anonymity, with respect to privacy. But I always said, Brother John, that needs drive behaviors. When you think about what you weren't getting when you were in New York, what needs were lacking in your life when you were in New York? What needs weren't you getting when you were dealing with women from New York? Because before you say it, they're going to say, oh, the problem was you, but it's not you. Right. Because men everywhere are saying the same thing. Right. So what were you getting?
And let me say this, it's not all women, but the majority of New York, they're so caught up with what can you do for them, what are you going to do for them, you know, do this, that, and the third, I need this, that, and the third, but it's never a reciprocal thing. It's never about you, so to speak.
Right.
So let me get this straight. So many modern day women think that they're the prize because basically they're a functioning adult and they pay their bills. Like, congratulations for paying your electric bill. I guess that means...
I'm gonna show you guys, we're gonna get deeper into it. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about. But guys, it started with people like Sammy Sosa and many others. I'm gonna show you how Sammy Sosa and some others or many others internalize hatred because they don't want to identify with their African origin or some of their African roots. I don't have a problem with Dominicans being nationals first. I don't, because they're Dominicans. But if you're a Dominican and you don't acknowledge your African roots, that's internalized hatred. I'm gonna prove my point. Sammy Sosa, the linchpin of self-hatred is Sammy Sosa. And so, guys, I wanted to break this down comprehensively because it's a cognitive distortion called minimization. Minimization, when they minimize the importance of their ethnic roots. Are Dominicans black? Yes and no. As I said earlier, if you bring a Dominican to America, the American system that was based on the one-drop rule would say that they are black because they saw us as black instead of seeing us as Americans. We should have been seen as Americans of the African diaspora. Because some will argue, say, well, I'm not African American, and I understand that. But then I will argue to those people, if you took a tiger from Bengal, India, brought that tiger to America, do you call that tiger a Bengal tiger, or do you call the tiger an American tiger? So it's a play of words. But once again, the question is, are Dominicans black? And I would say yes and no. From an American perspective, they will be considered black with African roots. Now, all Dominicans are not Tainos, African, and from the Iberian Peninsula. Some of them are Tainos and Spaniard, but many are mulattoes with Native American blood, Tainos, and maybe about 40 to 50% black blood, African blood from Congo, Nigeria, and Angola. But it depends on who you ask. Some Dominicans identify as nationals first, and I met Dominicans that will say, yes, I'm Dominican. They affirm their African roots, and they don't have a problem with it. And then some will say, if you don't ask the question right, they'll say, I'm not Dominican. Once again, it just depends on who you ask. You have to answer the question right, and it depends on who you talk to. But I had a very good time with Marina, that's her name, very kind lady, and I'm gonna show you guys the breakdown in a minute. Because ignorance, once again, is destroying a lot of people. And I understand why Americans of African descent feel the way that they feel. I get it. I'm not mad at it. I get it. But we got to have a conversation, guys, because ignorance is destroying a lot of people. Ignorance is causing a lot of consternation. Ignorance is causing a lot of miscommunication and a lot of people to more or less see people from a different light. So the question on tonight, guys, is, are Dominicans black, or should they identify as Dominicans first? What do you guys think? I'm gonna read through some of these comments, guys. But are they black, or should they identify as Dominicans? Shout out to Gregory Scotland. Gregory said the content creator, Black Mind, has been following the continent and has noticed the attitude of Southern Nigerian women. South African women, Kenyan women are main characters in this attitude. Wow. I'm not surprised, man. It's ethnism is sweeping the continent. Gregor also say Edward Anderson and his friend Martin in Brazil have been speaking and analyzing the Afro-Latina show a more feminist attitude, not the lighter Latinos. That's interesting. So what do you think it is? What do you think caused that, Gregor, from your best estimate? What do you think caused that? But let me show you guys why this thing is trying to download. But anyway, some will affirm their African roots. Some will not affirm their African roots at all because of slavery and internalized hatred. Some will affirm their Dominican roots, nationality, and later African roots. But however, many are now beginning to affirm their African roots because of the media and education. So there are some Dominicans that embrace being Morenas or Morenas and Afro-Latina. They are. Because you understand, just like we were acculturated to hate ourselves, some of them were acculturated as well. But you guys see the whitening of Sammy Sosa. Dominicans are right beside Haiti. And once again, if they say they don't have African roots, they're in denial because they do have African roots. And some of them look just like, a lot of them look just like me. I saw plenty dark-skinned Dominicans. I saw a lot of dark-skinned Dominicans. I saw a lot of them. A lot of them. And that's why, guys, these conversations are so important. I'm gonna show you guys, but I had a good time with Marina, and I understood where she was coming from. She said she's Dominican, but it's obvious that, but she also talked about and said, or more or less affirmed, that she have African roots. So she's an Afro-Dominican. She said that I'm Dominican, but I have people in my family that are black. Or African, so she didn't nullify it. But a lot of the guys, it's classism
and also colorism. Like some women think, white men are superior, so they get with white men. And they devalue black men. And they can have their standard, but when black men try to have a standard consistent with their needs, and all of a sudden, they want black men to pledge allegiance. So black men gotta always have standards consistent with the gynocracy, but black men can't have standards consistent with what they want to have as men. And so I'm gonna show you guys the
DNA results as
I'm gonna show you guys based on the cognitive distortions, because a lot of this is cognitive distortions. And so once again, it depends on who you ask. Some Dominicans will say, I'm not Dominican. I'm not black, I'm Dominican. And they're right and wrong. They are Dominicans, just like we are Americans. People should have saw us as Americans first, with African roots, Indian roots, or European roots. The only difference between Dominicans and Americans are this. They have Taino, Spaniard, and African. We have indigenous Indian, Native American Indian from different tribes, because America is way bigger. So it's a greater concentration of Cherokee, Lumbee in North Carolina, Tuscarora Indian. My bloodline goes mostly back from Nigeria, from the Hope Plantation, and then also British. But there's no flex. It's no flex to say I'm Hispanic, because Hispanic is not a race. It's just a subculture or a culture within a culture. It's not an ethnic origin. But they'll say I'm Hispanic, but Hispanic is not a race. Just like there's no such thing as race, but there is a such thing as ethnicity, because racism was more or less predicated out of trying to minimize people based on their skin color. So in America, they saw us as black instead of seeing us as Americans. So brothers and sisters from the African diaspora, or Americans of the African diaspora, they were never seen as black. And you're right, Lavelle, they're nationalists first, as I said earlier. Dominicans are nationalists. You're correct, Lavelle. They're nationalists, and I've said that. They are nationalists first, and I'm gonna prove my point. But anyway, let's get into it, guys. And shout out to Gregory Scollins. He's the #1 sponsor of the stream. Guys, share this stream. It's gonna be a good show. And donate to the channel. Don't let Gregory be the only one, guys. But in the meantime, get the likes up and share the stream. All right. So once again, are Dominicans black? Yes and no. Some identify as nationalists first, as I said before earlier. You have to ask the right questions. Dominicans are proud of their nationality. Many countries, they're proud of their nationality. Nigerians don't say I'm black, they say I'm Nigerian. Kenyans don't say I'm black, they say I'm Kenyan. So it's an understanding that they have African roots, but they affirm their national origin first. Brazilians say I'm Brazilians first. They don't say I'm black. But black folks in America, or Americans of the African diaspora, we were never respected or reverenced as Americans. We had to fight for our American citizenship. And sometimes consciously and or unconsciously, because we have been broken mentally by racism, we want other countries to think the way we think. And there's no big parade of black folks together. That's why when people say, well, black folks, your own people sold you into slavery, that's a myth. Because during the slave trade, there were different tribes and different countries that fought one another. They didn't identify from a color perspective. So a lot of times white conservatives will say, your people sold you into slavery. It had nothing to do with color. It was intra-tribal warfare. Intra meaning between tribes, and intertribal meaning within. So intertribal warfare, intra-tribal. That's why when you look at the genetic blueprint of most blacks in America, we come mostly from West Africa. But in our bloodline, you'll see Nigeria,
I would say American blacks are more African than anybody because you got Nigerian, Congo, Angola, Senegal, Gambia. You got a greater ag mixture for blacks in America. But anyway, we're gonna get deep into it, guys, because Sammy Sosa is an example of internalized hatred, and it's unfortunate. So anyway, guys, let's look into it. And guys, we're about to go down the rabbit hole. Before we look into it, guys, we're gonna go down the rabbit hole. But the war cry from Dominicans, guys, is that me no black, me no black. And some don't like it and some don't understand it. But you're gonna see comprehensively why some say they're not black, while some say they are black, but while some say I'm Dominican, but my bloodline is African. And while some say I'm Dominican and don't claim black. So you got variances. Some say they black or they're Afro-Dominican. Some will say they're Dominicans with African roots. And then some that say I'm Dominican, they don't claim black at all because it's internalized racism and classism. So me no black, it has some merit to it, but you got to understand what they're talking about. And once again, guys, it depends on who you ask. So hold tight, guys. We're about to go down the rabbit hole. Let's do it.
Down the rabbit hole we go. This is a place where we explore, analyze, collaborate.
And you're correct, James Sharp, guys. And James Sharp made a good point, guys. And I'm not going to read out comments, but if I say one comment, if you're not donating to the channel, I'm not going to be reading out comments. But this comment is correct. The scripture said, for one blood that all people come from. Now, here's a problem, James Sharp. People affirm and say race, but really there's no such thing as race. It's just called humankind. There's no such thing as race. Because prior to the Babylonian flood or the Tower of Babel, they were all one. They were all one, but after the confounding of languages, they begin to race to and fro. So that's where the word race came from. But a race will say that there's a species of other humans, and there is no species of other humans. There's only one kind, and that's the humankind, or the human genome. The humankind or the human genome. Now, some say race, but it's really a misnomer because there is no race. But the white progenitors of America, they use so-called race because race is a construct. It's a social political construct. When you look at the genetic DNA of human beings, there's not enough genetic variation to connote or denote a condition called race because there's no such thing as race. When God made man, he made him with the ability to create multiple shades and multiple colors. But there's only one kind, that's humankind. From one blood that all people come. So we're all part of the human family. There's no subspecies of human being. But for so many years, they try to assume and assert that people with darker skin were inferior. But here's the problem. The original humans were brown. The original humans, the word hue means color. The original humans or humans, they were brown people. And from those brown people came, or black, we would call them black or African, but from those brown people came light, red, yellow, and pink or white. That's what came out of the brown people. So we are the original people. All human beings come from the motherland. With a brown person with a dominant gene and a recessive gene, which means brown, you can get a dark black, you can get a white, you can get a red, a yellow, or you can get a brown. But you can't make a black person from two recessive genes if they didn't have a black gene prior. And that's the problem. But we have been conditioned to internalize us as not being great. But see, black history goes way beyond the Americas based on 400 years of oppression. And certain kingdoms in Africa, African pharaohs and African kings had other people that were slaves. They enslaved people. But it was never predicated, guys, it was never predicated on a construct called race because there's no such thing as race. Race would say there's another species outside the human genome that's different. So it was called the science of eugenics
tried to say that black people were inferior, but we weren't inferior because we were the original people. You can't get another ethnic group outside of another kind outside of the brown man or the black or the African man, but you can get different tribes, different nations, or different ethnicities. But there's only one kind, and that's humankind. Shout out to my man, and that was a good point, James. Shout out to my man, Gregory Scotland. Once again, it's Gregory Scotland and Top Gun are the #1 sponsors, followed by my man, Ray John. Well, actually, Top Gun is the #1 sponsor. Gregory Scotland is the #1 sponsor, followed by my man, R. Johnson, and then also Top Gun. Gregory Scotland said, one thought is that these foreign black women in other countries have picked up more and more the opinions and attitudes of American black women. Yes, I agree with that, Gregory. That is happening with a lot, brother. You're 100% correct. And thank you, Gregory. And guys, you want a comment you want me to read out, donate to the channel, and I will read it out. But you're 100% correct, brother Gregory. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
Shout out to Top Gun. Top Gun said, Ken Tay Arrow Silky Black. You want to break that down for me in English, Top Gun. Shout out to Top Gun. And I appreciate it, brother. And you a
hello, lucky person. You got the number right, because you are talking to Kid a Dynamite. Pure Dynamite.
Ray Johnson. As Ray Johnson is the next #1 sponsor for the $15 spot. I appreciate it, my man RJ. And brother, this goes for you. Thank you, sir.
It's the money.
So once again, Ray Johnson, Top Gun, Ray Johnson, Top Gun, R. Johnson, Gregory Scotland, and Top Gun, the #1 sponsors. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for showing love. We're going to get deep into it. They are the #1 sponsors of the stream, guys. And I appreciate it, brother, for showing the love and support. And then also shout out to my man, James Turner in the house. Shout out to James. He said, "Hey, la vadia vaz." I don't know what the hell you said, man. Right. The one drop blood. Shout out to James Turner, as he's also part of the sponsorship. I appreciate it, James, and thank you, sir.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
All right, guys, so we're going to get deep into it. Me no black, me no black. That's the war cry of so many Dominicans many times, guys. But we're going to break and dispel the myth associated with it. And I'm going to show you guys why, guys. I'm going to show you guys why. So let's get into it.
DNA results as a Dominican. 37.8 Spanish. 15.3 Taino. 30.
So guys, look at her ad mixture. 11% Nigerian, 8.2% North African, 8% West African, Kenya, 6.2% Sierra Leonean. So this woman has 38% African roots. So just like in America, some of us had an admixture of British, the indigenous Indians from multiple tribes, some of us, Cherokee, Tuscarora, Algonquin, if you're in South Carolina, the Choctaw and Mississippi, and you got a greater admixture. So when they say they're not black, some say it because they're ignorant, some say it because they identify as national first, and then some say it because you got to answer the questions right. And I'm going to prove my point, guys, once again. It's going to be a good show, so share the stream.
0.8 African.
Trujillo era, he was outlawing everything African. We have him to thank for, removing all teachings about Africa and African heritage. He ordered those things to be.
So once again, guys, when you think about Dominicans,
you're gonna think about the drums. Listen to what she said. They ordered those things to be destroyed. So there was an attempt to destroy the Dominican culture. There was an attempt to destroy Dominican culture. It's called whitewashing. It's called institutional whitewashing. Just like in Egypt, it was institutional whitewashing. Now we know all didn't do it, but some power elites, they whitewashed Dominican cultures, like American culture, and certain parts were whitewashed.
Removed from school curriculums, because that is not what he wanted our nation to be known as, so that was a very deliberate thing. It's just now.
So what she's saying, it was deliberate, guys. It was deliberate to say, I'm not Dominican. I'm not black. So because of how they were treated, and because of classism, because a lot of it's predicated on classism, they would say, I'm not black, I'm Dominican. Because saying I'm African or I have African roots, even though Ray Charles can see they got African roots, it could have been seen as something negative or reducing their ability to take care of themselves. And that happened many times in America, where the lighter you were, the more privilege you got. The lighter skinned blacks were given more privilege than the darker skinned black. The house Negro versus the field Negro. So they were given more privilege, sadly. And once again, guys, I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about in a minute, because I had a good conversation with Marina, and you guys gonna see it in a minute, so hold tight.
That you start to see more people learning more about it. Like right off the bat, you have a lot of
Gregory Scotland said, hell, I'm African, Haitian, Cherokee, and I have some second Japanese cousins. Yeah, we are admixture of a lot of stuff. So you're right, brother.
Students, and I'm not sure exactly when it started to really come back into the schools, but definitely for students who even were already got to make it to junior high or to high school, they were being educated on the fact that yes, our racial makeup is, European and indigenous, and African.
Right, European, indigenous, and African. So let me show you the conversation I had with my dear friend,
footage.
Marina. We're gonna flip back and forth, guys. We're gonna flip back and forth, and I'm gonna show you guys why. And I love Marina, real cool sister. Number of respect for this Dominican sister. Number of respect for her. But as you see, guys, their bloodline is mixed, like our bloodline is mixed. I'm 5% European, British, but I'm about 95% West African. Hold tight.
That's the right question. Some Dominicans, where they don't identify as black, like we should never identify as black. We should be seen as Americans first with African roots. So most Dominicans see themselves as Dominicans. But if you ask, do I have African? Is my abuela African? Is my abuela African? Is my madre or my padre?
So abuela, guys, means grandmother, grandfather. Abuela, grandmother. Abuelo, grandfather. Madre, mother. Padre, father.
Have African, they'll say C, but you have to ask the right question. And they just don't go off cusp and say that I'm black. Let me ask you a question, Marlena. So there are American men that are looking for wives, right? They're looking for wives. What make Dominican women good options?
And this was a comprehensive show. She did a great job. And shout out once again to Marina. I do plan to come see you again, dear friend, when I go back to Dominican Republic. Beautiful guest. Husband was a great man. Her apartment was immaculate. The Airbnb was immaculate. I mean, immaculate. I mean, upscale. Hospitality. 5 stars. I've never been treated so well. I felt home, guys.
For wives. What makes a Dominican woman a bueno esposa?
Dominican women are always happy.
See.
Yeah, and sometimes Dominican women could be nice, like like a woman and could be strong.
Forte. So some Dominicans, if you ask them, are you La Negra? And they'll say, yes, I'm La Negra, La Negra. Now, she's more of a cinnamon color, but there are black people or Americans from African roots that are cinnamon. My wife is cinnamon.
Fuerte, yeah. And I think people are like that. So you are sweet and how can I say?
I'm sweet and feminina.
Dulce amargo.
Dulce amargo.
Yeah, dulce amargo.
What does that mean?
Sweet and the
work hard, travel hard.
Yeah.
Sweet and work hard. See?
Yeah.
So the Dominican women are known as feminina.
Very feminine.
Did you hear what she said, guys? They're very feminine. Guys, share this stream. Let's get this stream up to at least 30 folks, man. This stream should have no less than 50 folks in it, guys. I'm giving you guys some fire for your mind, man. Come on, get the stream up, get these likes up, guys, and share this.
Fire for your mind. The kosher clinician.
But once again, guys, y'all are seeing why Dominicans feel the way that they feel. You guys are seeing it, so hold tight.
Dominican woman is very, very feminine.
Right. Yeah. So in your country, when you served me, you were so kind, so sweet. Tonino, your esposo, very good people. But you know, you were fixing. Let me show you guys the kitchen. This is a beautiful office, and she was in here, guys, cooking breakfast in the morning. Cooking breakfast. She gave me some espresso, toast, salami with a salami omelet. I mean, very kind, man. Very kind. Her husband was good people. And I'm going to send Marlena this show. And she was so respectful, man. When you're around a feminine woman, guys, and they support you and they smile, it energizes you. And once again, that's why so many men are checking out. James Turner wish... James Turner always trying to be like kosher, man. James Turner said, it's okay, James Turner, man. Everybody ain't got that kosher swag, man. It's all right, man. Everybody ain't got that kosher swag like kosher, brother. It's okay. I'm gonna teach you the art of swag at some point, James. Coffee, milk, bananas, papaya, pineapple. Very kind, very nice, very friendly. And so to the single men in America, if you're looking for wives, Dominican women could be a good option. You have to understand that Dominican women are very strong, very fiesta, very, very fiery, very caliente, muy caliente, see?
Sí.
And so, so you have to be masculino, see?
Feminine.
No. Hombre.
Yeah.
Hombre.
Boy, yeah.
Men, boy have to be. So men, if you go to Dominican, you got to be masculine. You can't be a simp. You can't be weak. Some of y'all going over there being weak. You can't be weak. You got to be a masculine dude, man. You cannot be weak going to Dominican Republic. Yeah, you can't. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it, brother. You cannot be weak going to the Dominican Republic. Shout out to Gregory Scotland. Gregory Scotland, man, always, he's so kind, man. Gregory, my homie. And Gregory Scotland said, one of the reasons why I admire about you is that you would go out and speak to people, right? For example, you interview passport bros, foreign people, other therapists, and converse with various men in the black manosphere. Yes, sir, man. And once again, Gregory Scotland, you're the #1 sponsor, brother. I appreciate it. And thank you, Gregory Scotland, for showing so much love and so much support.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
And Greg, I try to bring good content, man. I try to give you guys good content. As I'm a traveling therapist. Sometimes I travel. When I travel, this is a way for me to, foster my business, but also at the same time meet people. And if I'm gonna travel, if I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, you want to have a fallback plan and also have a way to justify the money that you're making.
So once again, sir, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh my Lord.
They will punch, run away.
Oh, sometimes.
Right. So in Dominican Republic, we know that there are women that have children without a spousal, right? Women have baby without a spousal. See?
Many.
Yeah.
So she said that many in DR do have children without husbands. There's some baby mamas in DR too. You ain't got to marry one. But there are some Dominicans that have children out of wedlock. But
could be.
Could be.
But, yeah.
So women that have children before ring, are they prize or they're not the prize? Meaning, are they like first choice or not first choice?
I don't know.
You don't know? Like women that have like 1, 2, 3 baby, no esposo, versus women have no baby.
No baby.
Right.
They have some girls, no mature girls
Mm-hmm.
have 1, 2, 3, a child without
Esposo.
spouse.
See.
Yeah, but I think it's a crazy girl, you know?
Right.
Because a normal girl. Girl maybe have one and then stop.
And stop, see.
You know?
See.
That depends.
She's a crazy girl. What does La Familia mean to you? What does family mean to you?
It's all. Family is all.
Family, La Familia.
Yeah.
See.
The family is all for you. Without family or without friends, you are nothing. You know?
Right. So in Dominican Republic, women, do they respect their husbands? Listen, escuchen to.
Yes.
See.
Or
Testing. Testing. Let me reset. Can you guys hear me? Yes or no? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? If you can hear me now, hit 1.
The things you speak with your husband to do maybe projects to do all together because you need to be together to grab to do something.
See.
Because here is very difficult to.
See.
Yeah.
No governmente.
Yeah.
No governmente.
No.
America have governmente, but here no governmente. So you must work together. La familia equals
Strong,
forte. Strong.
yeah.
See. Racism. Is there racism in Dominican Republic? Meaning, are darker Dominicans treated less than lighter Dominicans, or cinnamon Dominicans? Are they all treated the same in your opinion?
I don't understand.
Okay, so
Okay,
Negros
races. Okay.
Treated malo or treated bueno?
Negro?
Negro Dominicanos.
Yeah, it doesn't matter the color.
It doesn't. Okay. So she said it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the color, guys. You guys should be able to hear me now. She said it doesn't matter the color. You guys should be able to hear me now. But she said it doesn't matter the color. In some aspects, that's true. It just depends on who you ask. It just depends on who you ask. It just depends on who you ask.
You can be a good or bad person if you are maybe negro, you are black, you are yellow.
So
If you are negro, doesn't mean you are bad.
See.
You are white people, it can be bad people too. It's not the color to decide what you are, what you do.
Right. But in America, there's separation between in the past, in the past.
We need to cancel that. The past.
See. And so, but in Dominican, and listen, is there colorism in the DR? Yeah, one could argue that there is some colorism in the Dominican Republic. One could argue that. Yeah, some could argue there's colorism in the Dominican Republic. And I showed you guys earlier with Sammy Sosa. But it's more classism than anything. But a lot of it's classism, sadly, unfortunately. But we're going to get back into it, guys. So tight. Blancos treat Negros malo?
No. I never heard that here.
You never heard it here?
No.
Okay.
Blanco good, negro bad.
See.
Here you don't see different.
See. So Dominicans are nationals. Nationals. Flag first. Then color.
Yeah.
Flag first. We're Dominicans, proud Dominicans.
Proud Dominicans.
Children of the drum. Carabao. What's Chabata? Chabata.
Yeah.
Like musica. Chabata. Bachata. What is bachata?
Bachata is
And remember, guys, all the music that you get from the DR, the majority of it is African music. It might have some Spanish twist, but the music is from it's African, guys. It's African music.
Music, Dominican music, bachata, merengue, salsa.
Merengue, right.
Merengue, yeah.
Right. Now bachata.
Típico.
We'll see.
Dominicano.
Right, Dominican.
It's
But
born in Dominican.
born in Dominican. But it has African roots, like the boom boom boom. So you do bachata?
Yeah.
You good? Muy good. All right, guys, we're going to end this interview. This has been a great interview from my dear friend Marina and her husband Totino. I did this, guys, because I wanted to clear up the ignorance of why black people should identify Americans of the African descent should identify as American first. We understand that America never saw us as Americans. They saw us as black, which is wrong. We are the descendants of the African diaspora. That's a term that I created. But we should have been seen as Americans first with African ancestries. Like Marina is seen as Dominicana first with African, Tainos, Piquito, and Blanco. Just like in America, we have African, white, and Indian. Some of us are more African, some have more white, some have a little Indian. It's a different admixture. So anyway, guys, this has been a great trip. If you want to come and have a great time, come check out Marina at Gaia Residence in Dominican Republic, Puerto Plata. Come check her out. You guys, my accent's getting a little better since I've been around Marina. And you guys will have a great time, great hospitality. Now, this is upscale. This is not cheap. It's
And once again, guys, the establishment that she had was 5 stars, guys. Five stars. 5-star establishment, guys. Very nice. 5 stars, guys. 5-star establishment. Had number love for it, guys.
It's good price, but it's very nice. Muy evidente. Good restaurants, Bohemios. She's an excellent cook. Maros and La Tapia. How do you say the pizza place?
Tarapa.
La Talapa.
Italian.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
All right, Marlene, it's been a pleasure, dear. Take care.
Yeah, she was cool, man. She was a cool sister, man. Cool Dominican. Number love for her, man. Real kind, man. Very kind. Had a great interview with Marina. Number of respect for her, guys. But this is where all the ignorance come from, Dominicans. So as I said earlier, guys, are they Dominican? Are they black? Or are they national Dominicans with African roots? I would say the latter. They're national Dominicans with African roots. National Dominicans with African roots. I appreciate it. I'm Soa Seed, man. It took me a long time to put this show together. And guys, I don't know what's going on with these numbers, man. Same brother show love, and I appreciate it. James, Top Gun, Soa Seed, Gregory Scotland. These numbers, I don't know, crazy low, guys, but I ain't gonna worry about it. But doing content is a lot of work, guys, and I got to figure out how I'm gonna move forward. Will I continue to do content just in this vein? I don't know. I want to grow as a content creator, and I'm exploring a couple of different things. But we'll play for this in the meantime. But I'm just being honest, guys, because I want these streams to be popping. I want these streams to have 30, 40, 50, 100 people. I can deal with 50 to 100, but it's hit or miss. And so maybe I need to be more consistent with streaming. I can see that, Lavelle. Only uneducated Dominicans are the ones who've been deported talk that I'm no black stuff because they have a personal. I can see that. I can definitely see that. I can see that. I appreciate it, Greg. Coach is doing it up very well. And I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir. All right, let's get back into it, man.
About Dominicans, I think you should do your homework before you talk about Dominicans. I see in a video that you talk about we deporting people because they're black, and Mexico's deporting a lot of Haitians. So it's not about race. You don't know our history. You don't know our genetics, because we Dominican, we are a special race. We have Taino on our blood. We have European on our blood. When they
and there's nothing wrong with that. But see, guys, here's the problem.
Dominicans that look like him, Spaniards don't see them as Dominican, as Hispanic. They see them as Negroes because Spaniards were the ones that enslaved them. So you can say me no black to other people, but the Spaniards see you as a Negro. But some of them have an issue because it's based on classism.
It came on 1492. You should know that before you talk about our race. You were talking about this girl that she says she's not black, and she was right. She's not black. She's Dominican. If you ask me who I am, I'm gonna tell you I'm Dominican. If you ask me, are you white? I'm gonna tell you no, I'm not. Even though I am white.
First thing you said is we Dominicans were a special race. Dominican is not a race. Dominican is a nationality. You said Dominican.
Right. Dominican is not a race. It's a nationality. He's correct. It's not a race. It's a nationality. It's a nationality. It's not a race. And it's a nationality with a blend of different cultures. But it's not a race. He's correct.
Our special race because we're mixed with different races. I got news flash for you. Every people in the Americas is mixed with all of these three races. All of us. So there's nothing special about you or Dominicans at all. You are just a product of colonization as well as ethnic cleansing like the rest of us, sir. Okay? That was a mistake right there. No such thing as Dominicans as a special race. What makes you special? That you mix with all these races? We all are. And the reasons for being mixed with all these races, it's not a good reason. It's nothing to romanticize. It's nothing to say, oh my God, you are a product of grape, is what you are. Now, addressing the video about the young lady who is Dominican who said, I'm not African descent, I'm Hispanic. I speak Spanish. She is phenotypically African descent, black. You cannot tell the difference between her and a black American. The only time you'll even tell the difference is when she opens her mouth and speaks Spanish. Is he black?
If I go by his color, I would say he's black.
Are there people that look just like him that are Dominican?
Yes, a bunch.
Okay, cool. When the word black is being used, it means African descent. So now black people hear Dominicans say, I'm not black, I speak Spanish. What the hell does the language that you speak have to do with?
But hold on. I explained to you that we are mixed. Like you're trying to say they all come from Africa. Even if his color is black, he could feel European.
There's no way I could ever assimilate into white.
Well, all Dominicans don't have 100% African blood. But Americans go by the one drop rule. But Dominicans don't go by the one drop rule. Dominicans go by, once again, their national origin. Yeah. Right.
Whiteness, even though I got 15% Irish.
Even if the color of your skin is black and you say you have a European, how you identify more as a European or as a black American?
As a black person. This very superficial color of skin dictates a lot in this country. But I would imagine the black people that look like me in the Dominican Republic probably make a lower income and have lower access too.
No,
okay, so I have a question for you. Of all of the presidents of the Dominican Republic, have a majority of them look like me with my color?
No, we had one candidate, but
okay. That's all I'm asking. If you look at all of the big companies in the Dominican Republic, are a majority of them, their CEOs look like me?
Not really. We have a bunch of black CEOs.
But do you see how I can make those assumptions?
You're making the color of his skin as an excuse. I used to live in Harlem, so I have a lot of black friends there. And let me tell you something. They will stay home smoking pot. So if you get the opportunity and you get the chance and the government is paying you a loan so you could go to school, why they don't go to school? I mean, you cannot keep feeling as a victim when you have a chance to grow, to become better. Don't tell me the Spanish are going to come from Dominican and go over there, not even speaking English, and they're going to progress. They're going to buy a bodega. And you, American who speak English and who have all the chances on the world, you can make it.
You asked me, Mexico is deporting Haitians. Are they racist?
Yes, I asked you that.
I'll answer it for you. The answer is yes. Let me prove it to you. Mexico has systemically made the effort to bring in Europeans. They brought in Europeans by the boatloads because they wanted to whiten Mexico for the same reason why in Dominican Republic, Trujillo wiped out.
Right. And that's what Sammy Sosa's doing, guys. It's called the whitening of America. It's a whitening process. Look at Sammy Sosa. That's self-hatred, in my opinion. The linchpin, Sammy Sosa, the linchpin of self-hatred. You see how Sammy Sosa went from being dark to more cinnamon to white. And so they do have an issue with colorism, have an issue with color.
Some will acknowledge it. Some won't acknowledge it. It just depends on who you ask. Many try to minimize it, sadly. Some try to minimize it, sadly. But you guys see Sammy Sosa in his evolution from being dark-skinned to the whitening of Dominican Republic. Because the whiter Dominicans were seen as, the whiter Dominicans or the lighter Dominicans were seen as being more valuable. Unfortunately. They were seen as more valuable, unfortunately. Hold tight.
How many black people from Dominican Republic? It's for that same reason. Because these colonized countries in Latin America are trying to whiten the countries.
Right.
Soy afro-latino y la gente se sorprende que hablo español. Wow, tú hablas español muy bien. ¿De dónde eres? Soy dominicano. ¿Y tú dónde eres? Pues soy mexicano. Wow, tú también hablas el español muy bien.
Soy afro-latina. No soy bonita para ser negrita. Soy bonita.
Somos afro-latinos. Y sí, somos negros.
I know black.
So it's confusing, guys, because some say different things, guys. Some say I know black for because of internalized racism. Some say I know black out of ignorance. It just depends on who you ask.
Bueno. Soy afro-latina y no tengo pelo malo. Lo único malo eres tú.
I had a discussion with a Dominican, and a Dominican done the same thing to me. Me not black, me not black. I said, listen, don't worry about what I think of you. The oppressor will tell you who you are. Because when your ass gets to Spain, which they consider your motherland, they're going to tell you who you are. They're going to tell you straight. You ain't Spanish. I'm in Europe, right? Do you know right now how many Dominicans are running away from Spain to London?
Yep.
With a lot of Dominicans running away from Spain. And I'm asking you, Dominican, yeah, we just come from Spain 2 weeks ago. Why? Oh, Spain, muy racista. Spain, more racista. So you've been handed your Negro card. It took for the oppressor to tell you who you are. Yeah, see. So they've been handed their card.
Guys, as y'all can see how Africa is all over the Dominican Republic. You can see how rich African culture is. It's all over the Dominican Republic. But they say, me no black. Because being darker skinned, guys, y'all can see the minute that was based on classism or caste system. It was Spaniard, Indians or intermediates, and then the darker skinned Dominicans or nationals were seen as less than. So it was caste system based on skin color, on hue. Trying to infer that Africans are inferior, which they're not. You guys see how they took the culture from the motherland and brought it to the Dominican Republic. You guys see it. They took the culture from the motherland and they brought it to the Dominican Republic. And you guys see it firsthand. Can you guys hear me? I think everything is right now. If y'all can hear me, hit one, please. Hit one if you can hear me. Thank you. So guys, as y'all can see that they are people of the drum. They have African roots, African bloodline, African culture, and they brought it to the native islands of Dominica. They brought it to Dominica. So why some deny their African roots is crazy, because it's all in the culture. If you take away the drum, the culture, the people, they can't deny their heritage, guys. It's evident. It's very evident. So they can't deny it. They can try to deny it, but they can't deny it because it's too obvious.
Yo te por loca, pero de loca, de clase loca. Yo te por loca, hay muchachitas que son me droga. Yo te por loca, yo no te dejé por mala. Yo te por loca.
Dominicans be like, I'm not black. Meanwhile, the picture of their abuelita in the living room.
Do you want to know why most Dominicans?
Now, guys, this brother explains it, or this person explains it like I did. He talks about it not necessarily from a one-drop perspective, but from a perspective based on classism. But he talks about it based on classism and also skin hue. So people were associated more or less based on classism and also based on hue. That's how they associated.
And Puerto Ricans, particularly the Afro-Latinos, the Black Latinos, don't like to claim blackness or African or Afrocentrism. You want to know why? Because when slavery was going on, the breaking of the slave was so horrendous in the Caribbean, you couldn't imagine. Not to say over in the United States and in the southern plantations, we didn't have our fair share of nightmares. Let's believe we did. But in the Caribbean, it was a totally different beast. We were in the Caribbean in 1555, and we got fucked up out there. Really fucked up out there. They put up something called the caste system, which is racial hierarchy. Did you know that?
Did you really say it, guys? It was a hierarchy. And there was a caste system. You had mestizos, you had the lighter skinned ones. You had the lighter skinned Dominicans. They were seen as the better Dominicans. Then you had the ones that were admixture of, they were more or less Indian and white. And then you probably had the ones that were Indian or black and white. And then you had the ones that were just more African. No different than what you guys have seen here in America, sadly. Hold tight. All right, let me finish showing you guys. Hold tight.
Spanish people, white Spanish people, then people born in New Spain of Spanish descent, mestizos, basically Spanish and Native American descent, Native American, then African. So don't tell me there's no such thing as a race thing in the Caribbean. There is. There's colorism, there's all of that. There's also some things where they want to perfect the race, basically. Don't date anybody.
And once again, guys, that's seen as Sammy Sosa. That's colorism. That's internalized self-hatred. So it's like a matter of survival for a lot of them. That's why they said me no black. That's why some say me no black. But it's obvious they have African roots. We should have been seen as Americans with African roots. And they should have been seen as the ones that have African blood, Dominicans with African roots. Some will affirm their African roots. Some won't. It just depends on who you ask, guys. Just depends on who you ask. But let me show you guys something. This is going to make sense, what I'm talking about. It's the Dominican caste system that this brother's talking about. So if you guys can see, it was more or less predicated on a caste system. It was predicated on a caste system. You got mestizos. I think mestizos are more. Mestizos are more like, I think, Indian and black, I believe. Let me see. Mestizos are more Indian black, or mestiza. And then you have what was called mestiza castiza. I don't even know what that is. So it's Spanish and Indian. Spanish and Indian is mestiza, like I was saying. So you got a Spaniard and an Indian as mestiza. You get a mestizo, an Indian, and a Spanish as castiza. You get a castizo and Spanish as, I don't know what that word is. But then you get a Spanish and More. That's what they say, Morena. Morena, that's a mulatto. So basically, you see the caste system. So the best ones were Indian and white, mestiza. That's a mestiza, Indian white. The second best was Indian and Spaniard. The third best was, so they went from mestiza. Then you get what's called a mestiza. You get an Indian and a white man. They call it a castizo. So you got a mestizo and a castizo. Then that goes from a castizo and a Spanish white man. A person that's mixed with Indian and white. It's called a Hispano. And then an Hispano, which is a mixture. It's weird how the caste system is. And Hispano mixes with a black woman that's called a mulatto. So you guys see the formation of that caste system, and the darker you were, the less respect you had. That's why many times Haitians are not treated as respect, with respect. The Haitians are not treated as with much respect. So you got the Spaniards. They are phenotypically white. So you got the Spaniards, and they're born in Spain. Then you got the Criollos, offsprings of the Spaniards, born in the Americas. Then you got the mestizos, people of mixed European and indigenous ancestors. So mestizos are Indian and white. Then you got mulattoes, who are people of mixed European and African ancestry. So the mulattoes are the mulattoes are like castizos. So they're European and Indian ancestry, called castizos, and they mix with a Spaniard. But you guys have seen the formation of the caste system. Then you have what's called zombos. Zombos are people of mixed with Indian and African ancestry. That was their caste system. Then you got what was called indigenous. Those were just like the Tainos, the Indians. They was like pure Indians. They were phenotypically of indigenous descent. And then you had the Africans phenotypically of African descent. And thus, guys, you have what's called, guys, you got what's called classism or structured racism. And I'm gonna show you to what I'm talking about in a minute. It's more structured racism. So the whiter you are, the better. So that's why some say be no black. That's why some say me no black. But also, that's why some say it's the one drop rule. So Dominicans are mostly, I would say mostly mestizo or zombo. Mestizo, zombo, or a combination of both. But rarely do you have the indigenous Africans that were brought over as slaves and the indigenous Indians. But you guys see the structured class system. That's why they have more of an exotic look. That's why you see more of an exotic look, guys. Hold tight.
Or Africano or Negro.
Learning more about it. Like right off.
Lo único malo eres tú.
Yeah, shout out to my man MC Recovery, brother. My heartfelt condolences, man. I lost my sister about 3 years ago, man, 2 years ago from cancer. And my heart goes out to you, brother. You and your brother, my heart goes out to you. My heartfelt condolences, MC Recovery and Wellness. Stress is the #1 killer of men. I got a good show coming up where I saw a domestic dispute. You guys can see what I'm talking about. But once again, man, my heartfelt condolences, MC Recovery, to your brother. My heart goes out to you, man. I know the pain. And thank you, man, for dropping in this time of distress to show love. You could have been doing anything else, but you chose to drop in and show me some love, man. And I really appreciate it, man. You're a stand-up brother. And I appreciate it immensely, MC Recovery. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it 100%, man. So thank you, sir, once again. And my heartfelt condolences once again to your brother, man. So thank you, sir. Thank you again. And my heart goes out to you and your family. Because I know the sting of death. So once again, guys, y'all see the formation of their caste system. Y'all see it. That's the formation of their caste system. And so as you see, it starts off with white and Indian mestiza. Then you got a mestizo and a white man called a castizo. So you got white, Indian, mestiza. So many times when you look at Spaniards, it's white and Indian. So the white man from Spain came to Dominicans, came to the Americas, and they mixed in with the Indian women. They're called mestizas. Mestizas went from, a mestiza is a mixture of Indian and white, and then they get with a Spanish man, it's called a castiza. A castiza is a mixture of a mestiza and a Spaniard, and they get with a Spanish, and it's called the Espanol. So you guys see it, and once again, the lowest one on the caste system was black. And you notice the white men tend to have more props than the darker ones. So the least were 2 black men and women married, and that looked like zombos on the end. So you guys see the formation of the caste system. I'm gonna pull this down, and once again, guys, I just want to give you guys a deep, in-depth history lesson to let you guys see the formation of classism and racism in the DR, and why some say they're not black. So hold tight. Let me show you guys this. Hold tight. All right, so once again, you got the Spaniards. They were phenotypically white. They were from Spain. That's why when they say I'm Spanish, that's not a flex to say I'm Spanish, because it basically means you were conquered people. It ain't no flex knowing that you were conquered and pillaged by Spaniards. That's not a flex. Then you got what's called the Criollos. They're offsprings of the Spaniards born in the Americas. They're called Criollos. I know you've never heard of that. Then you got the mestizos, people of mixed European and indigenous Indians ancestry. So those are mestizos. Mixed European ancestry. Then you got the mulattoes, people of mixed European and African ancestry. So you see how it's going straighter and worse down the line. Then you got the zombos, people of mixed indigenous of Indian, maybe Indian and white, or Indian, black, and African ancestry. And then you got what's called the indigenous, which were the Indians. And then, guys, once again, the Africans are seen as the less desirable. So that's classism. You guys keep saying audio, so I don't know what's going on. Hold on.
Give me 1 minute, guys.
Yo te por loca, pero que loca, de clase loca. Yo te por loca, hay muchachita que eso me droga. Yo te por loca, yo no te dejé por mala. Yo te por loca.
Dominicans be like, I'm not black. Meanwhile, the picture of their abuelita in the living room.
Do you want to know why most Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, particularly the
Just like we've been trained to hate ourselves, guys. Once again, I apologize. They've also been trained to hate themselves. They've been trained to hate themselves. And that's why they said me no black, based on the class stratification, based on the class structure. The darker skinned Dominicans, sometimes the Indian, the phenotypically African, the phenotypically Indians, or more or less the Zombos. It's a stratified caste system. And sometimes they were married to whiter ones for class. Just like some black women did here in America, sadly.
Afro-Latinos, the black Latinos don't like to claim blackness or African or Afrocentrism? You want to know why? Because when slavery was going...
Shout out to my man, MC Recovery for the 2. He said trauma bonding is real. Thanks, he stayed for the kids. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you something, guys. You can't damn stay for no kids, man. It ain't worth it. I got a good show coming up. I got a real good show coming up soon of a domestic issue that I saw today. And you guys going to be shocked when you see it. But I don't believe in staying for no kids, man. You got to do what's best for you. And once again, man, my heart goes out to you and your brother, man. You know, so many brothers have not conditioned themselves to love themselves. And they tolerate disrespect to the point they lose their lives in the process, man. And that should never happen. But you got to break that cycle, man. That cycle of dysfunction.
Going on, the breaking of the slave was so horrendous in the Caribbean, you couldn't imagine. Not to say over in the United States and in the southern plantations, we didn't have our fair share of nightmares. Let's believe we did. But in the Caribbean, it was a totally different beast. We were in the Caribbean in 1555, and we got fucked up out there. Really fucked up out there.
Let me ask you guys a question.
They put something called the caste system.
To my scholars, do you think the Caribbean slave trade was worse than the American African slave trade? I'm going to argue and say what happened in America was worse because it was chattel slavery, but I could be ignorant to the Caribbean slave trade. But I'm going to say that what happened in America was worse. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comments.
Which is racial hierarchy. Did you know that? Spanish people, white Spanish people,
right?
Then people born in New Spain of Spanish descent, mestizos, basically Spanish and Native American descent, Native American, then African.
Right. And y'all saw what the brother said. And that's why some of them say me no black. Some of them say me no black because they've been taught in the history books that they weren't black because they've been whitewashed. Then some say me no black because they don't know, even though it's obvious. And then some say me no black. If you say, are you black, instead of saying I'm Dominican. Some will say I'm Afro-Latina. Some say I'm Afro-Dominican. Some will say I'm black. And I got to show guys, well, I'm going to show you guys, well, this brother identified as Dominican. I'm black. But once again, it's the language. Black folks from the continent should have never been seen as black. They should have been seen as Americans because our people built this country. But they'll say you're black, which we're Americans. We're Americans first, with African roots.
So don't tell me there's no such thing as a race thing in the Caribbean. There is. There's colorism. There's all of that. There's also some things where they want to perfect the race, basically. Don't date anybody darker, or Africano, or Negro. So you be careful of that. So that's taught in the Caribbean. Also, another factor is, because they're also very broken and suffering from self-hatred, what happens is, during the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, when a lot of people from the Caribbean were migrating, immigrating to America, what was going on in America at the time? Segregation, Jim Crow. The Civil Rights Movement was just starting to kick off a little bit. So a lot of our Afro-Latino brothers and sisters was witness what African Americans were going through.
Shout out Dr. Dunn.
And you know what? Brother? They didn't want no piece of that. So to escape persecution, I'm Hispanic, I'm Dominican, I'm Puerto Rican. That's how it came to be. That's how it came to be.
So you guys saw it. That's why they said me no black, me no black. To you guys that are coming in, I'll go back and play it again.
My DNA results as a Dominican. 37.8 Spanish. 15.3 Taino. 38.8 African.
Trujillo era, he was outlawing everything African. We have him to thank for, removing all teachings about Africa and African heritage. He ordered those things to be removed from school curriculums because that is not what he wanted our nation to be known as. So that was a very deliberate thing. It's just now that you start to see more people learning more about it. Like right off the bat, you have a lot of students, and I'm not sure exactly when it started to really come back into the schools, but definitely for students who even were already got to make it to junior high.
So once again, guys, what do you guys think about the structured racism when Dominicans say me no black? Is it internalized racism in your opinion? Is it cognitive dissonance? What do you guys think about Dominicans when they say me no black? Or when they say I'm Dominican, is there some value to it? Y'all tell me what you think. But I'm going to end the stream in a minute. I'm going to drop the link if someone want to come through for a minute and share comments and talk about the show. That's fine. If not, I'm going to end it. But I appreciate all the people that showed love and support. Shout out to everyone that showed some love on tonight. Gregory Scotland being the #1 sponsor, followed by my man R. Johnson. So I'll read you the super chats real quick. I appreciate it. Shout out to Gregory Scotland. He's for the first 20. Shout out to Gregory Scotland again for the 10. Shout out to Top Gun. Shout out to James Turner, always showing love. Shout out to Gregory Scotland, always showing love. And he was the #1 sponsor for $50. Always showing love. Top Gun. Asora C, thank you, brother, showing love. MC Recovery and Relapse. And once again, man, my man, MC Recovery and Wellness. I appreciate it, man. So what do you guys think about this show? What do you think about the internalized hatred of some of these Dominicans? Do they have any validity? If so, hit 1. Do they have any validity? A little bit of separate. Yeah, I agree with that, Lavelle. A little bit of self-preservation in the Stockholm Syndrome. I agree with that 100%, brother. I agree with that 100%. And once again, I'm John Dole. I appreciate the input, brother. Thank you, sir. But you know what, John, YouTube is a lot more, I've been doing a lot of research on YouTube. It's a lot more nuanced than that. Can that help? Maybe for the streams it could. Sometimes my creativity is it's a blessing and a curse. But there's more nuance than that. But I do appreciate the input, man. Because sometimes beautiful is not always the best option. I agree. But sometimes it is. So it just depends. But I appreciate your help, brother. Thank you, sir. Jenkins John Dole. So, guys, once again, I'm going to play a little bit more of this. You guys, y'all can, if you want to come in, that's fine. If not.
High or, to high school. They were being educated on the fact that, yes, our racial makeup is, European and indigenous, and African.
You don't know much about the
Shout out to my man, the International Quiet Storm, another big hitter, always showing love for the 10, support black male media. I appreciate it. So once again, guys, to the ones that are coming in, I'm not going to go back and play this over. I'm going to end this stream, guys. Thank you, guys, for being so supportive. So let's go back and recap. What is the recap? The recap is, are Dominicans black? And once again, it depends on who you ask. So we're going to recap. It depends on who you ask. It just depends on who you ask. So from an American perspective, they are black. Based on the one drop rule, they're black. And once again, thank you, the International Quiet Storm, for the 10. Thank you, sir. So I say yes or no. Some identify as nationals first, and you have to ask the right questions. It depends on how you ask the question and who you ask the question. Some will affirm their Dominican roots or nationality and later African roots. And some will not affirm their African roots at all because of slavery and internalized hatred. And many are beginning to affirm their African roots. I'm going to show you guys that show coming up with a Dominican brother that I interviewed. And so I got a couple more shows to show you guys my time when I was in the Dominican Republic. Once again, this is the beautiful young lady, Marlena, that I interviewed. Real cool young lady. Nothing but respect. In case I lost the footage. Dominicans, you have to ask the right question. You got to ask the right Some question. Dominicans where they don't identify as, and that was my friend Marlena. So anyway, guys, thank you, brothers, for tuning in. I got a good show coming up, and once again, guys, I appreciate it, guys. We're about to sign off. Thank you, guys, for showing love on tonight. Share the stream, guys, and learn to love yourself. And once again, my heartfelt condolences to MC Recovery and Wellness. Death is a cruel taskmaster, man. A very cruel taskmaster. And once again, my heartfelt condolences, man, to you and your situation. So once again, Gregory Scotland. Gregory is the #1 sponsor of the stream. Thank you to Gregory Scotland, as he's the #1 sponsor of the stream. Gregory Scotland for showing so much love on tonight. He's the #1 sponsor. Thank you, Gregory. And guys, we're about to end this stream. And I'm going to do some more research, guys. So anyway, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to end this stream. And once again, guys, this is another message from the kosher clinician. And why some say me no black. Let me see if I can find it. Why some say me no black, because many do say me no black. Some affirm their African roots. And sadly, some or many don't affirm their African roots. So you just got to know, it just depends on who you ask. Just depends on who you ask, guys. Man, are you dealing with issues like this? Cook a session.
And women literally just gave up on their men.
So guys, once again, we're going to have a good show coming up, some good shows coming up this week. He said I had 6 hours by bedside. Wow. Yeah, man, that's sad, man. Yeah, my heart goes out to you. Do me a favor, MC Recovery. Send me your number, man. Go to coachclinician@gmail.com. Send me your number, brother. Send me your number and we can chop it up, man. Thank you. Send me your number so we can chop it up, brother. That's what it's all about. But anyway, guys, if you're in need of a non-diagnostic consultation, come see me at coachclinician@gmail.com. But once again, guys, always love for people like Top Gun, Gregory Scott, the International Quiet Storm. Guys, become a member of the channel, and we're going to be signing off in a minute, guys. Thank you. But listen,
I appreciate that, Quiet Storm. I'm honored that you said that, man, because doing these shows are not easy. It's not easy doing these shows, man. And I am a licensed therapist, and this is edutainment for me, using clinical concepts from an ethnocentric perspective. And so, man, I'm honored that you said that, man. I really appreciate that, brother. Thank you, the Quiet Storm. You and I have talked in the back, and I got nothing but love and respect for you. You, Gregory Scotland, Salty Balls, and membership channel of the Kosher Clinician. There are 4 levels to this channel. There is Kosher Novice, Kosher Apprentice, Kosher Master, and the highest honors is Kosher King. You guys know I am the Kosher Clinician, and everything I do or strive to do is fit and proper. But many times we know that YouTube is a very competitive business. Some get it from the mud like me, some actually steal talking points, or more or less parrot talking points without consent or giving credence to the person that did the actual work. And because of that, I'm going to start making most of my content membership only to the great guys like Gregory Scotland, The Quiet Storm, my man Saul, and many others that always donate to the channel. Feel free to click on the link to the membership button. It'll give you all the explicit instructions that you need. And continue to enjoy content like this as listed to the top as we continue to strive to empower men from all ages and all ages. You know and I know that creating content takes a lot of time. And in order for me to ensure that my time is merited, to ensure that you guys are getting the best content to those, especially those that donate and show love on a regular basis, I've taken upon myself to take my craft seriously, or very serious, and to more or less ensure that you, the faithful listeners, men and women, but mostly men, are getting the best content possible so that you can not only get your needs met, but also so that I can ensure that I get the proper revenue, as these streams take a lot of time and they take a lot of work. And I need you guys to understand this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. There are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become optimized, and understanding why becoming a member of this prestigious channel is paramount as we seek for resolve in times when male-centered content is not only under attack, but so is masculinity. Be well. Fire for your mind. Kosher Clinician.
When men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over.
I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
To exclusively marry black men. We are in the middle of a crisis. Black men are in crisis. And anybody who denies that black men are in crisis is ignoring the data, the science, the research, the statistics. It is not a figment of your imagination that there are not enough eligible black men to marry.
It's been an honor serving with you all. Autobots, roll out. We roll.
Nanobots, transform.
She lie on them brothers, separate uncles and nephews and cousins and try to pin us against mothers. How you a woman but ain't got a man for protection, but you undercover? How do you think that we suffer? Thought we were sisters and brothers. Now you get birthed in the gutter. When they rap, they the same ones that cut you. Be the same ones who yelling they love you. Be the same ones who calling me nigga. After that, wanna say I'm his brother. Yeah, she lie on them brothers. 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 So all going on in your man, you don't get it. And using your women as splitters, then hitters. Put you in place and our family ruin. Target your boys, you don't see what they doing. We gotta beat them, you wanna join them, we just leave them. Your feminist feminism, more like treason. Politics, you don't even follow leaders. First is master, probably cause of your Jesus.
God is white. Isn't it obvious?
Well, that is obvious, but we don't know if it's obvious that God is white. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Jesus did not have blonde hair and blue eyes. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the images of Jesus that are on prison walls and churches throughout the world are not historically correct, because history teaches us that Jesus was born in a region where the people had color. There's proof in the very Bible that you ask us to read in Revelation, 1st chapter, verse 14 and 15, that Jesus had hair like wool and feet the color of brass.
Just what are you saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm proving to you that Jesus was not, and I might quote one of our Indian brothers, he was not a pale face.
This would have been a dick, you didn't believe it. You reap the benefits from your achievements. Penitentiary, all we get is delete it. But God on our side, baby, we gon' beat it. She lie on them brothers. She lie on them brothers.
I'm been on you. I'm the biggest, baddest.
Separate uncles and nephews and cousins and try to pin us against mothers. How you a woman but ain't got a man for protection, but you undercover? How do you think that we suffer? Thought we were sisters and brothers. Now you get birthed in the gutter. When they rap, they the same ones that cut you. Be the same ones who yelling they love you. Be the same ones who calling me nigga. After that, wanna say I'm his brother. She lie on the brothers. 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 She lie on the brothers.
Breaking all these black men with what? And they don't give a fuck. Yeah, this man hit me fucking grabbed a rock and he hit me in my fucking face because I would have given him my number. And all y'all just fucking watch. Y'all see that shit? Y'all see that shit? What y'all do? I want y'all to be a man. I want y'all to be a man and fucking do something. Y'all gonna let a man hit me in my face.
Roll out, transform, 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 roll out.
Fire! Kosher clinician.
If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up and young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues. Absent fathers who miss you. Mama drama don't kiss you. All a part of the ritual. This is how they get you. Separate the men, women, clipping babies pretend to. Damn. Lovers, haters, acting like vultures. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen. Listen.
All right, guys, this stream is over. Thank you to the 20, got up to 25 on the night, guys. Hope we get these numbers up at some point. But I ain't gonna trip. I'm grateful. Seems like all numbers are down. Don't know what's going on, but at this point, I really don't care. But I'm grateful to the people that show love, always consistently show love and support. Thank you to all the people that show love. And guys, we're about to end it. So once again, guys, thank you. And we're signing off.